Izien. There we go. That's the next guest here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Go ahead, put those cans on right there as getting ready for the 2025 Tampa Bay Buccaneers season. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing?
Good. Good to be here today. The energy is great in here.
The energy is great in here. Let's go ahead and get real close to that mic because I want to make sure they hear you, Christian. But, talk about the 2025 season. How excited are you about this season coming up?
Yeah, we're really excited. We got a lot of guys back, a lot of new guys, a lot of fresh bodies. So, we're just ready to attack it. We know our potential, so we're just ready to get after it.
Talk about potential. You are an undrafted guy, and you come into the league. You show potential right away. Kind of what have you learned from that first season to now?
A lot. Just about the game of football, but specifically about the NFL. It's a different game than college. It's a different game than high school. So just learning the nuances within our defense and within the way the NFL is. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing that you've learned from the first year to now?
Just take every game one game at a time. Because every game has its own identity.
Yeah.
And, I think that's the most important part is not to get too high, get too low, because every game has its own identity.
Talk about your secondary play last year because, much was made about it. You did draft 2 kids there, got some competition. You got Jamel, of course, yourself, Tyke Smith taking over the safety position. Of course, we talked to Antoine Winfield Jr. About 5 minutes ago. Talk about the play overall in that back end for you guys.
Yeah, it was chaotic. It was a lot last year, with guys going down left and right. It was a lot going on. I think it was the good word to describe is resiliency. We had a lot of resiliency just throughout that whole season, playing with so many guys, playing with almost a different guy almost every game.
Yeah.
Within the group. So I think it helped us gel together, become closer together.
Yeah.
Get a good feel for how to play with each other.
We're on with Christian Izien of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Cornerback on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. Who's the player that you learned the most from? Is it Antoine Winfield Jr.? If it is, what have you learned from him? Or is it another player that you've taken, some things from the National Football League on this team?
I learned a bit from everybody. I took the guys like Levante David. I learned things from him.
Yeah.
I learned things from guys like Jamel Dean, Carlton Davis, who was here before.
Right.
Of course, Winfield, playing the same position. I just grabbed little pieces of each of their game and pick their brain as much as I can to add it to mine.
Talk about some of those pieces.
Yeah.
Expound on that a little bit. What pieces from Antoine Winfield did you get? What pieces from Levante David did you get?
Yeah, I would say Levante when it came to blitzing. Just how to let somebody else take the time to get to the blitz so it can open up for you. Just like little vet moves to open up the gap for you, or a Winfield, for example. Reading routes and coverages and how to jump routes and just how to get a better feel for blitzing and stuff like that. So just little things within our game.
Yeah. What do you think about these new kids and Parrish from Kansas State and of course Morrison from Notre Dame? What do you think about them?
I think they're good players, but more important, I think they're good people. So just get a time to gel with them. I think they'll help us definitely. Morrison, he's a good corner, press man corner.
Yeah.
Parrish as a nickel, he can play corner as well. So just adds depth. Like I said, football season is a long season, so guys get banged up. We need guys ready to come and step into play.
They're physical guys. Would you say that's your game also? And you talked about character. That's a direct reflection of Jason Light, right? Talk about first, are you physical like these guys are? Do you feel like that's your game? And then on top of it, the impact that Jason Light has made on your career and on this organization, in your opinion?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think the most important part about playing in the NFL is just being physical, knowing that it's a physical game, and Bowles puts us in positions where we have to be physical, of course, to play the nickel position and safety as well. So I think Jason Light has done wonders, just for giving me the opportunity to come out, be an undrafted, nickel, undrafted free agent, to come out to start my career, get my feet right in the game, and I jumped out hot. So it worked out for both of us.
What do you think can take your game to the next level this year, Christian, for you to have the most success for this team going forward?
Just doing what I'm doing as far as just being a sponge and just grabbing all information, being able, staying ready to play multiple positions.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. You got to jump around. So just, having my value at multiple spots and just getting a better feel for just understanding what teams are trying to do to us.
Right.
I think that'll take my game to the next level.
Who are some of the guys you looked up to? And then we'll let you go because I know, and again, I appreciate the time here. I'll give you my card. You can always tune in. Come on if you want to. Monday and Wednesday nights. Lots of Bucs Nation, lots of people love this team. The expectations are sky high for the 50th season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But who are some of the guys that you looked up to getting into the league that you tried to emulate?
Yeah, I told people all the time, Winfield and I had the same coach in college. He left Minnesota and came to Rutgers, so he was my nickel coach my senior year. So we just watched a ton of his film throughout college and the NFL. A guy like Buda Baker flies around.
Yeah.
Guys of that's Kenny Moore. Guys like that were similar paths and just finding ways how do they impact the game.
Talked about Todd Bowles. We'll leave you on this. How much has he made an impact on your career, and in your opinion, how good of a coach is he for this team, Todd Bowles?
I think he's the coach for this team. Just at that point blank, he is the coach for this team.
Right.
He knows us. We know him. He understands us. He's relatable to us. He knows how to communicate with us.
Yeah.
His messages come across well to us. So, we all have the same goal in mind. That's to win a Super Bowl.
I love it. On that note, we ended off there. Christian, thanks a lot for the time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. All right.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Good stuff there. Christian Izien on the Evolution.